Hello neighbors, and welcome back to the Noya Mountain Music Teaching Channel. This is going to be a video aimed towards the beginner level student, maybe some intermediate level folks, and maybe some advanced students who would like to learn more about counting. All right, cracking the counting code. So first of all, let's make the distinction between the academic count and the modern count. All right, so this has to do with how the beats are counted.
You don't say, tell me more.
And the academic count, which is usually how music gets written or tabbed out, which we do not endorse on this channel as the way to learn bluegrass music, old time music, folk music. They're counting what's called the front beat and the back beat. All right, so if you're thinking about how the music goes, like boom, 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 they're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the academic count. All right, the modern count, which I believe is much better for learning bluegrass folk music, goes like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so where the mandolin chops, that is the backbeat or the off beat, and it is not counted as a number, it's counted as an and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, which means that where the bass plays its big note, which is the beat, boom, 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 the strong beat, that's your quarter note, okay? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and bass plays on the 1, mandolin chops on the and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That can be really confusing when you're watching all these different YouTube videos or whatever about how people, count the beat. Academic count counts the ones and the twos as the boom chuck or boom strum. The modern count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so with that premise installed, we got our quarter notes on the strong beats, 1, and the and is on the back beat. So we're counting basically the front beats only as the quarter note. It's a little confusing. So let's start our counting practice by just going up the major G scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is the same as the 1, that's your octave there. Let's just do eighth notes, okay? So the count like this would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all downstrokes. So most of the time, unless you're playing slowly and you're playing like a lot of, those would be like 16th notes, a lot of those. But usually you're gonna play your downstrokes for your eighth notes. So let's try that, counting up the G scale like this. 1 and 2 and here we go, starting now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so you can do that through your whole scale, all the way up to the second octave. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If you want to finish it out and be square like that, not square in like a cultural sense, but just like square in a meter kind of sense. Okay. All right. So your 16th notes, we're going to add the shuffle lick in there to be our main focus of study today. We're going to use it for maybe like Mary Had a Lamb, Skip to Malute to kind of get to know the counting of the shuffle lick. But just so you know, your 16th notes when you play with down and up is going to be like this: 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. These are 16th notes because there's 16 of them in one bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, but we count them with 1 E and a, 2 E and a, etc., etc. So it's down and up. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Don't go 5 E, just start over with 1. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, so on and so forth. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Come back. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, to finish it out. Okay. Going kind of fast, but you can practice at whatever speed you feel like is good for you. You can set your metronome Okay, let's talk about the metronome just for a second. You want to have your metronome set to the quarter notes. When you hear the click, 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 that's going to be your quarter note, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to have 4 16th notes for every click of your metronome. So it'll be like this. But before we do, please like and subscribe. And go ahead and hit that little bell there for the notifications, and you'll get all the good stuff from Noya Mountain Music. Thank you. And please consider becoming a patron on patreon.com/Noya Mountain Music. Click, 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 click. Those are your 16th notes. 1 and a clicky and a clicky and a clicky and a. Okay? So hopefully all this is landing well. Let's talk about the shuffle lick. What is the shuffle lick? Sounds like this. One of the classic tunes for learning the shuffle lick and how to play the mandolin is Skip to Maloo. Shuffle lick all the way through it. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But let's get our count going on the shuffle lick. All right, it's gonna sound like this. First of all, let's explain what the shuffle lick is. It is 1/8 note and 2 16th notes, and the pick strokes go down, down, up. All right, 1/8 note, 2 16th notes, down, down, up. Down, down, up, 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 down, down, up. So if we're gonna count the shuffle lick up your G scale, it would sound like this. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. You can do all your different patterns, the skipper pattern, the folded pattern, counting with your shuffle lick if you'd like. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a. You don't want to speed up when you're doing it. Just kind of going in fast forward. That's, of course, the skipper pattern. And your folded pattern, you can also do that with a shuffle lick, counting 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1, etc., etc. Okay, let's get back to Skip to Maloo. This is a nice counting tune for the beginner student. All right, Loo, Loo, skip to Maloo, Loo, skip to Maloo, Loo, skip to Maloo, skip to Maloo, my darling. All right, lost my partner, what'll I do? Lost my partner, what'll I do? So the vocal melody, Loo, Loo, skip to Maloo, Loo, Loo, skip to Maloo, Loo, Loo, skip to Maloo, skip to Maloo, my darling. It does not have the shuffle built into it, and so we want to fill it out to create the texture of folky, kind of bluegrass, old-time music with, guess what, the shuffle lick. All right, so it's going to sound like this. As you can notice right there, I didn't do a shuffle on the very last couple beats there. You don't always have to thread the complete shuffle through the entire melody. I encourage folks to just get it where it's easy. Okay, let's talk about the counting for Skip to Maloo. All right, so it's gonna be using that shuffle lick, 1/8 note, 2 16th notes, down, down, up to play most of the whole melody. All right, so to count it, it would be like this. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4. I guess we wouldn't play the and, but anyway, the gist of it is that the shuffle lick is going to be the engine that's powering this rhythmic texture. Okay, so with your right hand, once again, you're doing 1 down. That's your 8th note, and then a down, up. Those are your 16th notes. So the 8th note is long, the 16th notes are short. All right, so you got 1 and a, 2nd fret of the A, down to the 5th fret of the D, 2 and a, all right, then back to your 2nd fret, 3 and a, up to the 5th fret of the A, 4 and a, so that's your first bar. That's complete shuffle lick. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a, then the chord shifts to D. You start on the open A, 1 and a, down to the 4th fret of the D, 2 and a, back to the open A, 3 and a, and then the 3rd fret of the A, which creates the D7 sound, 4 and a, and then the 3rd bar is the same as the 1st bar, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. And here comes a tricky little part, because you got to split the shuffle between some notes. It's going to sound like this. All right, so the shuffle is 1 and a, and then usually I just play 2 and 3 and a, 4 and a. So the first beat is split between the open A, that's your 8th note, and then the 16th notes are split between the 2nd and 3rd fret. Down, up, so you got down, down, up. That's one shuffle, 1 and a, and then you come down to your 2nd fret of the A for the 2nd beat, 2, and you don't do your shuffle for the 2nd beat, and then when you get down to the 3rd beat, 5th fret of the D, you'll start your shuffle again. 3 and a, 4 and a, it's a little tricky. 1 and a, 2 and 3 and a, 4 and a. All right, you could even go 1 and a, 2 and 3 and a, 4 and leave the shuffle off of the last beat of that bar. Okay, so if this is going by a little quickly, stop the video and work it out. You just want to get the sound with the counting going. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a, 1 and a, 2 and 3 and a, 4 and a. If you're going to do that last bar with the full shuffle through the whole thing, it would sound like this. 1 and a, 2 and a, 3 and a, 4 and a. We're just playing 8th notes for that 2nd beat. 1 and a, 2 and, when it's just going 2 and, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, those are 8th notes. You play those just with downstrokes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So on the 2nd beat of this ending bar, you got your one shuffle that's split between 3 notes. 1 and a, then 2 8th notes, 2 and, then 2 shuffles on the 5th fret of the D. 3 and a, 4 and a, or you could leave the shuffle off the last beat of 4, 3 and a, 4 and. So there's some options there, not trying to make it too confusing. All right, so even if you're going to take a very, very simple tune like Mary Had a Little Lamb and try to do your shuffle with it, it can be challenging. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, fleece was white as snow. Because you're splitting the shuffle between different notes. So usually we just go, those are 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If you didn't play any more of the 4th beat, that would make that a quarter note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3. If you want to count all the 8th notes, you play this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But if we're going to try to do the shuffle lick, it's a little challenging because you got your first note on the 2nd fret of the A, 1. Your shuffle continues on the open A with the down and up, and so that's your first little gambit there. 1 and then down to the 5th fret of the D for 2, 2, and then come back to the open A for the down up, and so already it's confusing a little bit. It can be subjectively. 1 and 2 and instead of just going get your shuffle on the back beat. 1 and 2 and 3, and make sure you're going down, down, up, down, down, up. When it comes back to the 3rd beat, you got little lamb. You can finish that. You can fill that out with a shuffle. 3 and 4 and so the first bar would be like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and into the next bar, open A. 1 and 2 and on the 3rd beat here, you're splitting the shuffle between the 2nd fret of the A and the 5th fret of the A. 3 and 4 and all right, so let's take it from the top. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3rd bar is the same as the first. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and here's your last bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 So for the fourth bar, the ending bar, you have a shuffle on the open A, down, down, up, 1 and the next beat sounds like this, 2 and so you're splitting the shuffle between its 8th note on the 2nd fret of the A and the 16th notes on the open A. So that's down, down, up. So the first 2 beats, 1 and 2 and the last 2 beats are shuffles on the 5th fret of the D. 3 and 4 and so the whole last bar sounds like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I know I'm going very quickly, but you can stop the video, work it out, and then also to double and triple and quadruple your money, you want to play this in like the bottom octave. And then also with your root on the 5th fret of the D with your first finger, if you walk that up 3 steps in the scale, 1, 2, 3, that's going to be your starting note, ring finger on the 9th fret of the D. You play your shuffle arrangement here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. On the and of 3, you cross over to the 5th fret of the A. And 4 and for your high note. Back to your 9th fret of the D. Third bar, same as first. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and if you're feeling especially sporty, you can come up to the 7th fret of the E with your root on the 3rd fret of the E. That's your G note. Walk that up 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. That's where you start. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. It gets really high up here, 10th fret of the E. And 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then take all of this up to A. How do you transpose everything in G? Is 1 whole step higher in A. So if you're starting on the 2nd fret of the A in G, it's going to be 2 frets higher. A fret is a half step. So a whole step is usually going to be 2 half steps. In this case, going from the 2nd fret of the A to the 4th fret of the A. That's where you start. All right. Make sure you use your open E is best. All right, then you find that same starting note on your low octave. All right, so find your A, 2nd fret, walk up 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, start there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 you use that same idea about coming up to the 9th fret of the D. We were on the 7th fret of the D. We're on the 5th fret of the D in G. 7th fret for A, that's your A note. Walk up 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, and find your melody there. All right, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 you can, if you want to get flossy, you can come up here and do it here. All right, so this is a little primer and cracking the counting code, and you can count along to your coming around the mountain. 4 and 1 and 2. A lot of times your pickup notes are either going to be like 4 and or and 4 and. Usually I like and 4 and. But for the actual vocal melody of Coming Around the Mountain, it's spelled right out there. She'll be, that's 4 and. So you got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 4 and again, you don't have to play the shuffle the whole time. A lot of times when the melody is moving, I'll just use the 8th notes, downstrokes, to play those without the shuffle. It's easier that way. Down, 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 down. Then when it comes back to the long note, that holds out in the vocal melody. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. Play your shuffle over the long note. Long, short, short. You don't have to play your shuffles there. Kind of harder, so it's easier, and it's kind of like Occam's razor in the tradition. This is the sound our ears are most accustomed to hearing. So with the little notes that move, you can just play those with downstrokes, 8th notes. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah, then take all that up to A. 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 3 and a 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Not as easy to play these simple songs as you might think it would be, especially with the shuffle lick and especially counting. But it's a really good practice to develop, especially at a formative stage. So hope you've enjoyed cracking into the counting code. And if you like the content here, please like and subscribe, put a little bell notification on there, and that'll help us out, get this music out there. And if you'd like to support the channel, please consider going to patreon.com/Noya Mountain Music and becoming a Noya Mountain Music patron. That would be wonderful if you want to do that. Help support the channel, get more of this stuff out there. Anyway, hope you're having a beautiful day, and we'll catch you on the next video. Adios.